Hello from Slide Nerd and hello from Weaves. What's going on, guys? In this vid, I'm going to be talking about how to calculate sine x by using this formula x minus x cubed by 3 factorial plus x raised to 5 by 5 factorial, and it goes on infinitely. Now, are we going to calculate this infinitely? Of course not. We're going to ask the user how many terms he wants, and also we're going to ask the user the value of x, alright? So if you see x is something in radians, remember that. Let me go ahead and show the output. Enter the number of terms 4, enter the value of theta in degrees 90. Now whatever the user has entered in degrees, you have to convert that into radians in the first step, and then only you start working with that radians to give you the value of sine x. Okay, now if you see for 4 terms, you get this value 0.998, which is approximately equal to 1. If you remember, sine 90 is 1. More terms, more accuracy, alright? So now let me go ahead and show you how this works. So here we have the expression. I have broken this first term over here into something like this. X is nothing but x raised to 1 upon 1 factorial. Then I have separated the negative sign inside the brackets over here and over here. And if you see, I'll break down this entire expression into different pieces. And here's the thing you should observe. The first term is positive. The third term is positive, right? That means the odd terms are positive. The even terms are negative. I'm talking about these even terms, alright? Not only that, there's another thing you should observe. If you see this is 1 factorial, then there is 3 factorial, then there is 5, then there is 7. That means we start at 1 and we increase the power and the factorial number by 2 each time, right? So let me go ahead and show you how this thing works. We have an empty box over here which represents the value of sine theta. Initially it is 0. There is nothing inside sine theta. But what happens as soon as we put x raised to 1 upon 1 factorial inside, this thing goes in and sine x becomes sine x is 0 plus x raised to 1 upon 1 factorial. Then I put minus x cubed by 3 factorial, I subtract it and it decreases a bit, right? And next time I put x raised to 5 by 5 factorial in this, and it again increases in size this way, right? So in short, we alternate the size of this box to get the value of sine x perfectly. As you can see, in each iteration we're adding and subtracting stuff out there. So let me go ahead and NetBeans and get this plane flying. So here in NetBeans, I have nothing, just a plain empty project over here. There's a buffered reader over here for taking input from the user. I ask the user enter the number of terms. He's gonna say something. I'm gonna store that inside this variable int number. Then I ask the user enter the value of theta. He's gonna give it in degrees. Remember that, very important. And I'm gonna take that and store this inside this int theta, right? So the first step, we need to convert the degrees to radians. So let me show you. There are 2 ways of doing this. I'll say double radians. If you remember, theta multiplied by pi by 180 is going to actually give you the thing in radians, alright? So if say math.pi. Now remember, your math class has this constant pi, which is exactly 3.1415, whatever it is, and divided by 180. This is going to give you radians first. So let's test if this is working perfectly. If you remember, 2 pi is nothing but 6.28 something, and pi is 3.14. So let's just see what happens when you put some angle over here. System.out.println radians, alright. Control S, Shift F6. Number of terms doesn't matter. Enter the value of theta. If I say 180 degrees, this should be actually 3.14, right? Because it's 2 pi, and that's exactly perfect. The 180 degrees is actually pi. It's not 2 pi. Sorry about that. My maths is bad. I keep telling you guys all the time. This is one of the ways for converting this. There is another way to do the same thing. Let me show you that also. If you see, there is no need to do all this. There is a function called 2 radians. This takes an argument which is your angle in degrees. So give that, the function 2 radians is just like your assistant. It does the work for you. You don't have to worry. This is inside the math class, alright. Now I say math.2 radians theta. Let me go ahead and show you that it works the same way. If I say 180 again, it's going to be the same answer, alright. So now the part comes where we are going to talk about the factorial. The first thing, if you guys see over here, there's 1 factorial, there's 3 factorial. So we need a assistant who can do the work of calculating the factorial for us. Otherwise this is going to be very complicated when you put all these things in one place. So let me say get factorial is the name of our assistant. He's going to say, hey dude, fine, I'll calculate the factorial, but where is the number? So you have to give him the number, right? Say int fact equals to 1. So if you guys are wondering how I'm doing this, don't worry much. There's a playlist where there's a separate video on how to find the factorial. You can go and check that. That way you would know exactly how factorial stuff works. So at this point, the assistant has done calculating the factorial. He's going to give it back to you by saying return fact, right? And now As you see, since he's returning something, you have to specify what type he is returning. You have to say int over here, and that does the trick. All right. Now another thing to notice is this is static over here, and we need to make sure that our assistant is also static so that our boss can directly call our assistant. If you don't know what static means, don't worry much about it. When we talk about object oriented stuff, at that time we'll go into the details of what static is actually. So let me go ahead and test this function by calling the assistant. So far over here I have only defined the assistant. I have not actually called him to work, something like that. I'm gonna say here get fact, and I'm gonna pass a value of 5. He's gonna return me 120. If you guys remember the 5 factorial, so here enter the value of theta. It doesn't matter whatever it is. As you guys can see, it's returning 120. If you put 0 over here, I'll enter something just for namesake. Okay, now get factorial of 0. That should return us 1. Let's test it. Okay, it's giving us 1 in the third line. So we'll carry forward in the next vid. If you like what you saw, please subscribe to my channel, comment, let me know what you think about this. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Have a nice day.